So we have a video, that's why.
Imagine that she is not working.
It's working. So, good evening everyone. This is Ponvel, Akanksha, Puneet, Vishal and Shobit on stage today to present to you on the topic, Write Drunk, Edit Sober. So, when this topic was given and we all sat to discuss about the topic, there were many perspectives that were coming in. And we couldn't decide on one particular idea to present on this particular topic. And then it struck us. Isn't it the very essence of the topic that creativity isn't limited by realms of thoughts, but it's uninterrupted flow of innovation? And so here we are to get you all drunk, exactly. And we all here to present different perspectives of this topic. To start with, the world that we live in today is changed by a very few men and women who had mad ideas. Be the first man in the picture, Nikola Tesla, who wanted to run this whole world by AC current when Edison was already doing it with DC. Or the second man in this picture, Elon Musk, who wanted to start a boring company just because he was bored of the daily traffic. What's common between these two men? When they presented these ideas to the world, the common response that they evoked was this. Isn't this a drunk idea? Yes, exactly. It's a drunk idea, and these drunk ideas are edited time and again soberly to change the way that we live our lives. And today, I'm here to tell you a small story relating to this. About a 12-year girl. This girl lives in Swat area of Pakistan. Just like every other 12-year girl, she had a dream. And she was going to her school every day. And one fine day, she was told not to. And she asked why. And the reward that she got for the question was a bullet to her head. And then she didn't buckle down. She stood up and asked why again. And the result again this time, she became the youngest Nobel laureate, winning the Nobel Peace Prize in the year 2014. It's none other than Malala Yousafzai. So, what was her mad idea? To stand up against the Taliban, who the entire military and the police force in Pakistani Swat area refused to stand against. What made us stand against that? We don't know. Probably we'll never know. But still, that mad idea was followed up by precisionally following it up soberly so that she won the Nobel Prize. Her dream is that one child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world. And she has been doing that. But to add to it, not every idea, every mad idea that has been proposed is changing the world for good. Like, take for example this one.
When you hear 4.9 and 5% unemployment, the number's probably 28, 29, as high as 35. In fact, I even heard recently 42%. Our gross domestic product, a sign of strength, right? But not for us. It was below zero. Who ever heard of this? We'll build a great, great wall on our southern border. That's a Trump wall, beautiful wall. I will build the greatest wall that you've ever seen. They ever put my name on it. I want a gorgeous wall. You know? The Trump wall, oh, will that be a beautiful wall? Mexico is going to pay for the wall. They're going to pay for the wall. Mexico is going to pay for the wall. Mexico is going to pay for the wall. And they're going to be happy about it.
But is Mexico going to pay for the wall? Because the current Mexican Treasury Secretary has said Mexico, under no circumstance, is going to pay for the wall that Mr. Trump is proposing. And two former Mexican presidents were even clearer.
Mexican people, we are not going to pay any single cent for such a stupid wall.
I declare, I'm not going to pay for that wall. He
So-
should pay for it.
Say no more. I think you now inferred that mad ideas sometimes could be mad and could change the world for worse. Say no more. I call upon Puneet to put on his perspective.
As my friend has said about the idea, so a question might be that is in our mind, what is it and why is it? So why is that idea that changes everything? So the question is that, it is something that boundaries that we put in ourselves, in our mind, that binds that creativity and the innate ability of us to create something, something that's valuable. So these people that create something, they have that thing in them. They are not bound by it. So they are drunk in something we can say about the creativity drunk that they have. So you can see these 4 billion piece of work that has revolutionized the literature. So who is the person? The William Faulkner. He, throughout his life, has produced tremendous work that has contributed a lot toward the literature and even won the Nobel Prize in Literature. So what we can infer from it is that he had that creativity and he was not bound by that, the barriers that we put on ourselves, and he created something valuable. But on the contrary side of it, he was actually drunk most of the time. So, next slide. So what's common between these people that is there? So Truman Capote. So we know that Breakfast at Tiffany's. Most people might have read it. And Ascot Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby, and Ernest Hemingway, The Old Man and the Sea, and obviously William Faulkner. So these people have something in common. There's something that made them different. There's something that broke all the barriers and created something like, you can say, being drunk. And we are the people, the sober people, that are judging them, and that's putting the value to the stuff that they created, the creativity that they had. So that could be it. So they are the ones that have done something, being drunk, and we are the people that are judging it. And apart from that, we were actually drunk most of the time. So now, my friend, Akansha will tell you.
Thank you, Puneet. Now, going forward with the presentation, I have a small video to show.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
So, what makes this advertisement so different and unique? It is the very idea of selling the idea and not the brand name. When on one hand, we had all the conventional companies going on telling the people about their product features, Apple came up with this drunk idea of flashing their brand name towards the end just for a few seconds in a minute-long video. So I would like to ask a simple question to all the Apple fans in this hall. What if tomorrow Apple decides to come up with a smart car? How many of you will actually aspire to own one? I'm sure many. Moving ahead, just look at this picture. So, how many of you remember using these phones, bulky Nokia phones with antennas? So, at that point of time, to think about sleek touchscreen phones that we all have today was totally outlandish. But this is the Apple's motto, to think different, to come up with a crazy drunk idea each and every time. And it is their ability to convert those drunk ideas into their products, and their great customer base clearly shows that they are doing great. So they didn't just write drunk, they are editing sober since then. And the result is that Apple is one of the most liked brand at this world level. So I'll invite Shobit now.
Thank you. Yeah, so up till now we have discussed people thinking out loud, being drunk, getting different ideas. But apart from that, there was one more important thing, that they had the time to collate those ideas to give it the final solution that they have, right? But just think like that. Is it like every time we have some, we'll have some time to collate the ideas, we will have some time to, we'll have enough time to think about this and give the final solution? No. When we take some risks, do you think we have that much amount of time to think over what we are actually doing and what result we'll have? No, nothing like that, right? So let's substantiate this risk part with certain examples. Taking an example of a 32-year-old boxer, at the prime time, of his age, he lost his, belt and was aiming to get back to, to the top position. But all he had to do is to go against one of the top boxers at that time, 25 years old of age, and he was the world heavyweight champion. So in that case, what that boxer did, he just went against him without thinking what the results will be. He took the risk, and finally he won the bout. Yes, we are talking about Muhammad Ali. So in this case, Muhammad Ali, he took the risk. He didn't think about what will be the results be. But in this case, yes, the results went in favor of him. But that's not always the case when we are taking certain risks. The results may go against you also. The best example in this case will be Michael Schumacher. We all know he lived on the edge each and every day of his career. And currently where he is, we again know that, right? So, I mean, what I'm trying to say is, when we think out loud, the example that I took over here is by taking risk. We think out loud, but it's not every time we'll be sober enough to change the final results, like sober enough to edit the final results, like the topic that we have used over here. So that was my perspective. Looking on to other perspective, I'll call upon Vishal to talk about it more. Thank you.
Thank you, Shobit. Now moving forward, I have a different perspective. I look at this topic, right drunk and edit sober, in a quite complex, and it deals with the psychology part. So what is it? Now, look at this image. Can you guess which horizontal line is longer? So, even if you have seen it already, this is Mueller-Lyer illusion. But you can't convince your mind fully that both lines are same. So why does it happen? We will answer it in a bit. Next. So, there is a question here. If a bat and a ball cost you $1.10 and the bat cost you $1 more than the ball, then what is the cost of the ball? So if your answer is 10 cents, my friend, then I'm sorry to say you are wrong. If you calculate it by a rational mind, and again, the answer is 5 cents. Now, you are the brightest mind in the country, and you have scored probably like 99.99 percentile in your CATs. How did you get it wrong? So, we will answer this in a moment. Now, according to world famous economist, Mr. Daniel Kahneman, our mind is divided into two parts. One is system 1 and one is system 2. The system 1 is pretty erratic, like your drunk friend, who is irrational, fast and intuitive. It takes decision in a second. And the other is system 2, who is rational, who is really slow, a lazy bit, and a sober. It takes things into consideration and then provides a decision. So what is the implication? What do I infer with this? So before moving on to the world, if we look into our perspective, into our own mind, then we can be better at persuasion, we can make better decisions, and in the end, we can provide the changing ideas that the world is waiting for us to do. Thank you. And now my friend Punu will continue.
So, how to conclude in this topic? Like, I see many faces. Some are bewildered, some are really confused. Like, they didn't speak anything exactly relating to the topic. And somewhere like, okay, you spoke about sports, politics, so what? Like first, exactly I said, this is a topic wherein we gave in all our perspectives. So we made you all drunk. So you are in a drunk state of mind right now. Get sober, think about it, reflect upon it, and you'll get it. Thank you.
Now let me see how many of you are drunk and how many of you are sober now.